time it is? You just tuned in the lab with Coach Rock and O. East Tennessee High School Sports Podcast. Bringing you all the exclusive interviews with some of the hottest players coming out of high school and the coaches from around the country here. Make sure you like and share this podcast. And stay tuned in each week. But enough of this. Let's get it. Shadowens, how you doing, Coach?
Doing good, appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming back out, Coach. Yes, sir. Good, Coach.
Coach, started out hot, 3-0. You didn't lost your last two since I got in district play. Tell us how the season been going for y'all this year. What you looking forward to for the rest of the season?
Obviously, we sit here 3-2 going into our off week. Somebody said, would you have taken it before the season started? I said, no. No, I wouldn't take 2 losses, but at the same time, we knew, and I've said from day one, we're going to be better at the end of the year than we are at the start because we are playing a lot of kids who hadn't played, playing more freshmen than anybody in our league for sure, more sophomores as well. So we understand that. That's not a reason to lose. We expect to win games, period. I thought we got overwhelmed by Ainsworth a little bit, kind of just handled us and ran the ball down our throats, and we couldn't really block them. And that happens sometimes in this league. I thought that was, when you play a lot of new linemen, for the most part, we've gotten 3 new ones. And obviously Anton, your son has played well for us. You got Chuck and JR, but on the other side, you got 2 brand new kids. You got new tight ends playing, and that happened. Last week at Briarcrest, a little different story. We didn't start very well offensively early, and then kind of got it rolling in the second half. And you take the lead twice in the fourth quarter, you expect to win, and we weren't able to get a stop when we needed to. So, learning experience, obviously. We've kind of been exposed at a couple spots. Last week, I thought we were exposed with a really young secondary. In the fourth quarter, you saw that, and I thought the week before we were kind of exposed with the total numbers of players that Ainsworth had in the box against us. And we know there was a couple 4-stars, and that one's committed to Tennessee. One's been offered to everybody in the SEC. That's our league. That's why we want to play in this league, right? Because you're going to play those cats. So our kids have worked hard, man. Our kids are all bought in, and that's what somebody asked me how the kids feel. Well, we felt pretty bad Friday night, but on Monday after we got through watching video and talking and meeting and doing the things that we did, working out, our kids are back, and they needed this week off for their bodies, and now we start real region play. We haven't had a region game yet. We played 2 private school teams that are in the league, but NBA is the first region game that we have. The next 5 are all region, so we're ready to take the week off, but we're ready to crank up for next Friday night.
That's a great answer, Coach. Coach, losing Coach Steve Matthews to Concord, with him being the co-head coach and calling majority of the offense last year, coming into this year with you calling the offense, does it make your job harder? And who's calling the defense this year for you, Coach?
I've got 2 co-coordinators on defense, and to be honest with you, I've always ran the offense in 30 years of being a head coach. I've had to also run the defense. Last year was my 4th year, I think, of having to call the defense. And as a head coach, you're in charge of both technically, but last year that wasn't the case. I was in charge of defense. Steve was in charge of the offense. We kind of split all the other duties up, whatever. So, but Jake Dawson, he's worked with Coach Pruitt at UT. He's worked a little bit at Powell. He's a young kid though. And then Ivan and Phillp, they're my co-coordinators on defense, and they're doing a good job. But obviously, they're 2 young guys that they know a ton of football. I'm really impressed with those guys and their work ethic. But obviously, got to coach some more on Friday night. And Coach Dawson had a really tough time Friday night after the game. He really struggled, and I called him on Saturday morning. I said, "He's still there." Sometimes I remember the first game I ever coached in as an assistant coach. I was a D-back coach at Smyrna, my alma mater. We lost 21-20 to Shelbyville. We gave up 3 touchdown passes. And like I said, I was a D-back coach. And I remember walking off the field, and I was 19 years old. I'd hurt my knee again for a second time, couldn't play. And I said, I don't know if I can do this. You know, and I think that's kind of how Jake felt Friday night, Coach Dawson. As a young guy, feeling like, hey, what could I have done to get a stop on one of those last 2 possessions, right? We win the game. But no different than our kids. You know, as a staff, you got to grow up, you got to learn, you got to figure out, you got to analyze. And I tell our kids that on Monday. I'm a believer. I always have been. Some people say this is a dumb way to look at it as a coach. The first thing you do on Saturday morning is analyze what you did. I mean, you got to do that. If you're not doing that, then you're lying to yourself. You got to analyze what you did. What could I do better? And then you can go and evaluate every kid. But if you don't evaluate yourself along the way, then you're lying to yourself. And so that's what I told our coaches. That's what I told our kids on Monday. I said, I spent Saturday evaluating our coaches. What can we do better? Individual coaches, myself. I said, you guys need to understand, I also evaluated you, and there's a lot of things you can do better. And so we all got to do things better. And I think that's the way that you get kids back and understand that everybody's accountable. Coaches, kids, managers, trainers, whoever's involved in our program is accountable to what happens on Friday night.
So it is, Coach.
Last year you shared responsibility with Coach Matthew. Well, after being now this kind of it's your team now, and what kind of difference has you been making to the house since been going to season?
Well, there's a difference because there's all the offense stuff, right? At County's private school, right? You got 8th grade people calling you all the time. You have people who want to come here and you want to talk to them about all those things. You got all the off the field stuff, right? Last year we kind of split those off the field things, right? And now I've been a head coach for 30 years, so I'm used to doing it by myself. But I was a public school head coach, and there's a difference in how that works, right? And so we spent all off season obviously talking to people who were interested in Catholic, and we did a really good job with it. We got a lot of great freshman kids in here, the best ones in the country, are in here. And that's part of what you have to do in the off season. When it comes to the season, it's a matter of hiring coaches. We lost a couple of big ones, right? We lost Bob Cronenberg, our offensive line guy, to the New England Patriots, and me and Bob still talk 2 or 3 times a week, and he misses his place, but he's got a dream job. He's personnel guy with the New England Patriots. Come on. Right, and then Chase Kirsten, he had a real sickness in his family, and Chase coached with us through the summer, and he's going to be back to coaching, but so I've lost my D-back coach. My receiver coach, my part-time receiver coach, but my full-time safety coach. And so you lose 2 guys that are really important to your staff. We have a young staff. I got a new running back coach. It was a big-time player for me at Blackman, and we played in the SEC. Octavius Mathers, he's 30, he's the old guy. Alex Weiss is the only guy that's on the varsity staff that's old. So he's in his 40s. And then I got a bunch of 20s. Coach Mike Tucker's in charge of the JV. But I got a lot of young guys. So they got great energy. Our offensive line coach, Brian Tucker, obviously just got fresh out of playing at Clemson. So the knowledge in the room is good, but at the same time, you put the staff together. We'll continue to add pieces to that. Because my goal, and it always has been, is to have the very best staff in the state of Tennessee, and that's our expectation here at Catholic. It's just a building process.
Yes, sir. Losing guys like Braylon Horman, coach, who was not just a dynamic receiver for you guys, but also helped and was the #1 return man in special teams. Talk to us a little bit about special teams and how it's been going with losing a guy of that caliber on special teams.
Tough. Obviously, probably the best returner in the nation, as far as his stats. He had 6 touchdowns returned in our league for touchdowns. Those are game changers.
So it is, though.
And Tyreek's had 1. People aren't punting the ball to Tyreek at all. People are punting out of bounds. But in some games we haven't made them punt it enough either. But nobody, like last Friday night, they were averaging about 22 yards a punt because they were punting out of bounds. We also lost one of the best snappers in the country, Cooper Crook. He's at Boston College. He's traveling as a freshman right now at Boston College. They don't travel those guys, so they can't snap the ball. And so we have a new guy there. We've had, as we've got a couple of snaps, and he's working his tail off, and he's doing a good job doing everything. He's our best one we have, and he's getting better. But we got to be more consistent there.
Yes, sir.
Because we have to win special teams. And last year we were able to do that because if they kicked the ball off or they punted the ball, Brother Harmon got it. And it seemed like every time last year that we needed to play, he made it. And those are game changers. So that's still a work in progress. We got to get better at that. If we can get him to kick the ball to Tyreek, he's got a chance every time he touches it. The trouble is they don't kick it too much.
Unfortunately, you started the season out without Jayden. Tell us how difficult it was going into the season, not having him, and what the process been with the new quarterback and the maturity in the week going into the next week.
Right, so we came in the year, we came in spring thinking you got Jayden Neal, a kid that's number 7,700 yards.
Yep.
That's a crazy stat. That's a crazy high school stat, that's a crazy stat. And great leader. And the thing about Jayden, obviously we know what kind of player he is, but he's a great kid, man. I mean, like, we spend a lot of time in our office as our quarterbacks. I coach the quarterbacks, they meet in the office a lot. Like, that quarterback room is unbelievable. So you get a kid move in June, and Mac Bartholomew, that's coming from Nashville. And then you get Garrett King, who's a freshman. A crazy talented room. You got Zach Lance, who's another senior. You got Connor Moore, who's a freshman, also plays safety in the freshman team. So that we got a great room, right? Obviously, Mac Bartholomew has been the kid that's played most of the year. He's thrown for over 1,000 yards, thrown for 11 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I mean, done a lot of good things. And it's going to be a great player, just like the freshman Garrett King. Like, Garrett King may be the best freshman quarterback in the state. He's a really talented kid. He can throw at 65, but he's a freshman.
Yep.
He's a freshman.
Yep.
It's hard to play in this league. He's a freshman.
Oh,
Mac, and the thing about Mac, nobody really knows because he's not from here, is Mac tore his ACL week 3 or 4 last year in freshman football season in Nashville. So he wasn't even released to play until July. And so he's coming back, and Mac can dunk it. He's a 6'1" kid who can dunk it with one step. He can really, really run. But I've torn ACL. And granted, it was the dark ages, but I mean, that's hard to come back from. And so what I've seen with him, last week, he ran it even better with his scrambles. Like, he's getting more confident in running the football when he needs to run the football, because he's a talented runner and thrower. So I think our quarterback room's great. Obviously, we would love for Jayden Neal to be healthy.
Yeah.
We brought him back a couple of weeks ago. He was released, played a couple of series, and was in a lot of pain. And I said, we ain't doing that.
Yep.
I mean, he was in crazy pain. So that tells me he wasn't ready.
Yep.
And obviously, when Jayden's in the ball game, we went 90 miles an hour, and yes, Jayden understands what we're trying to accomplish. Jayden has been truly our coach for those kids. I mean, obviously, as a head coach, you move from spot to spot, when it's not just time to coach the quarterbacks. And he's been a guy that's really taken those guys under his wing and made them better quarterbacks. But I think in the long run, it's made Jayden a lot better quarterback, because Jayden, he understood the game last year, but he understands it because he's really intelligent, but he understands it even at a different level now because he's seen it from the coaching perspective.
Yes, sir.
And so whenever he gets to play, whenever that is, whenever he's ready to roll, whether it's NBA, BA, or playoffs, or whenever that may be, or next year in college, I don't know. Only good Lord knows that stuff. But whenever he's ready to go, he's going to be even a more elite quarterback than he already was, because he's got a different perspective now.
Yes, sir, I agree. Coach, talking a little bit about the defenses that we've been facing and going to face going forward with the pressures they throwing at us and the double teams that Tyreek facing, whether it's 2 guys over him or safety over top. Talk to us a little bit about how hard it's been scheming to get him open with those looks he's been getting.
It's been somewhat tough. Now, Tyreek has 10 touchdowns. So we got him open some.
Yeah.
I think he has 26 catches. I think we've targeted him 44 times, which means there's too many incompletions there, right? There's 18 incompletions. I keep those stats pretty heavy.
Yeah,
so, 5 games you targeted 44 times. That's pretty good targets, right? That's pretty good. That's been with double teams and sometimes 3 on top of 1.
Yeah, sure is.
When he's to a single. So, you know what that means? You got to run the ball better.
Yeah, I agree.
In reality, when you drop an 8 and there's only 3 left,
run the ball.
You got to run it better, right? And we know that we have 2 young running backs, right? We have a crazy talented freshman in Matthew Rogers.
Yes, sir.
A crazy talented freshman. This is a different league. You get hit by men. And Matthew's been able to handle that. But at the same time, I don't think I coached Octavius Mathers, right? He was Mr. Football, Gatorade Player of the Year, and all that stuff. He didn't get 1 touch as a freshman at Whiteman. He split touches as a sophomore with 2 seniors. And then as junior and senior, he had 2,400 yards and 2,300 yards because his body was ready to roll.
Yes, sir.
And Matthew's body's more advanced than Octavius was as a freshman, so I'm not saying that Matthew weighs 172, 174, something like that. And then you have Jalen Rancher as a sophomore behind him, that are kind of splitting time to some degree. Yeah, we got to run it better. We know we have to run it better. That was the intention against Briarcrest. At times, we went some heavier sets, some different personnel sets. We were at a +2 at the point of attack, and we didn't run it too good.
Yep.
So we got to block them better.
Yes, sir.
Right, and we know that, and that's a challenge, and we got to get better, and that's what I told Coach Tucker. That's what we told the linemen. We've got to run better routes as receivers. I mean, when you're dropping that many in coverage, the windows are small, so you have to be exact in route running. You got to run the right ones, and we've busted some routes along the way. You got to throw the ball on time as a quarterback. That's hard as a sophomore sometimes, especially when you're dropping 8. But guys, I'm encouraged with the progress we're making. I know, sometimes say we start 3-0. I mean, you lost to Ensworth, and then you lost 31-28 Friday night. I see us growing as a football team, and I understand how the competition is in this league. Look, we played in it last year. I get it. And so everybody's going to be good. So we have to just keep getting better and better, and I think we will week by week.
Yes, sir.
You talked about Tyreek getting so much attention. Tell us about Casen Jenkins and the progress he's been having over the breakout season so far.
Well, we need Casen is a special kind of worker. He just works so hard, and Casen is faster than you think he is. Now he's not 4.4 fast, but he's 4.6 fast.
Right.
And he comes in and out of breaks good. He's a magnificent route runner as well, and he's kind of made himself into a really good high school football player, and a kid that can play in the college game. I don't have any doubt that he has a chance to play in the college game. His body's got to get better and different and all that kind of stuff. But he's got 32 catches. I think we've targeted him one less time than we've targeted Tyreek.
That's good, though.
And the thing we got to do is target others.
Yeah.
I mean, that's because sometimes we put them on the same side, and there may be 4 on top of 2 over there, and there's 2 on top of 2 over there. Ball needs to go there. Ball needs to go there. And but as a quarterback, and we understand this, we see this on Sundays even. As a quarterback, when it's crunch time, you want to go to your guy. You want to go to the guy that you know you have confidence in. You see that every time when you see it on Sundays, you see it on Saturdays. At the same time, we gotta spread the ball out a little bit more. And I got some freshman kids, some freshman receivers that are fantastic as well. Some of my other receivers are playing defense and offense. And I've got to get more of a break. One of them played 110 plays last Friday night. That's too many. Too many in high school. That's too many when the other team's playing half at. That's too many. So we're gonna add a Brooks Johnson to the mix. Brooks had a broken hand, but Brooks is an elite freshman receiver. He's 6'1". If you see him in JV games, he probably had 6 touchdowns in JV games. He's an elite guy. You got a little Omar McKenzie, who's a little bitty thing, but can absolutely fly. There's some things he can do to get in spaces, and we've got to take advantage. They're gonna play 4 on top of 2 when we put those 2 together.
Let's take advantage.
And we're gonna throw the ball over. We got to throw the ball over better.
Yes, sir. Sounds good, Coach. You guys got we got a bye week, and then NBA, who we lost to last year, 17-12. What are some things that you think we can do different to win this game this year, Coach?
Last year, I've known Marty, their head coach, for a long time. He was at Oakland when I was at Smyrna. We coached against each other. He was at MTSU when I was at MTSU as a player. So I've known Marty since we were kids. Marty's going to be in a lot of two tight end sets. That's what Marty believes in. Sometimes 3, sometimes 13 personnel. He's going to run inside zone about 6 different ways, but he's going to run inside zone. And last year against us, they kind of started off and slowly drove it down our throats and scored 14 points. Scored 3 the rest of the game. We finally decided we're going to find a way to stop it. So they're going to run the football. That's what they want to do. They have a freshman quarterback because their kid from last year broke his collarbone game 1. So they've been playing a freshman quarterback. And so they're not letting him do quite as much. And he's a quick little kid, and they'll boot him some, but they don't want him to get banged up. And, he's probably a 150-pounder. He's not a very big looking kid on video. So bottom line is, last year, and Jayden would tell you, this is one. Ensworth was a tough game for Jayden last year. He didn't play his best game. NBA was the second one. Where I watched the video again today from last year. We had 5 times we went 3 and out last year on offense. Can't happen. It can't happen. We went 3 and out 3 straight times Friday night to start the game. And I'll be honest, I don't know if in my career that's ever happened. To be honest, it was one of those deals where you can't start that game that way, and you can't have 5 3 and outs. You got to get a first down or 2 first downs, at least flipping the field, even if you're not scoring. Punting's not always a bad thing, but punting after 3 downs is not a good thing. And so we have to be more efficient on offense. I'm sure we will be. And then defensively, we have to just man up, stop the run. They're going to throw it a little bit with boots and all those kind of things, but you got to stop the run against those guys.
But what would you say your strength of this your team would be?
I think it's still our skilled players, even though they're young. I think I think our 3 experienced linemen is a strength.
Yes, sir.
But we don't need those 3 linemen playing 110 plays on a Friday night. Not when it's 85% humidity and 84 degrees, like it was last Friday.
Yeah.
Because you end up, if you're not playing against someone who's doing the same thing, you're still playing your butt off, but your energy's not the same spot after 110 plays than theirs is after 50.
Yeah.
But that becomes reality. So we have to find ways to give them a little spot rest, not much rest, but spot rest, and they've got to continue to work and get in as the weather cools off and be a little bit easier.
Right.
And so our strength has to be the number of skilled players that we do have, from a defensive back, safeties, receivers, running backs. We just need them to grow up some because they're inexperienced or young. And so we need those guys to grow. But I think that has to be what you would consider our strength, because we match up with anybody when it comes to our top 2 receivers, match up with anybody. We have, our D-backs, obviously, there's some skilled corners we have. Unfortunately, they're all freshmen, but or Jet's a junior, but we have a lot of skilled guys back there in the secondary that are young kids. And so that's a strength, but they got to grow up a little bit longer.
You got more questions?
I got one more.
Go ahead. I'm going to end off with
you talking about that freshman class. Tell us how special that 28 class want to be.
I've been doing it for a long time. I've been blessed to have had 18 Power 5 kids over the course of time that I've coached. And I've never had a class like this. Never had a class like this. There's so much to it. There's some linemen in the group, there's receivers, D-backs, quarterbacks. It's a good group.
Yeah.
It's a special group.
Yeah.
And but as I told them, I met with some of them on Monday. Because sometimes freshmen look at things like we hear about in freshmen in college. Right? There's some 4 stars and 5 stars in freshmen in college that go and they can light it up right off the bat. Right? But they're 19.
Right.
There's a difference between a freshman in high school that's 14, just kind of starting to grow into their body, than there is a 19-year-old in college. I said, so you guys saw that because you get some offers and because you're kind of ranked really, really high in top 25 in the Southeast or the nation or whatever. So, that's great stuff. It means you're a great 8th grade. I said, it means you're a great 8th grade player. I said, but as a 14-year-old guy, you're playing against an 18-year-old guy that's kind of gone through all their growth spurts, been in the weight room. I said, so you little greedy, you got to go through the process. You got to get better at technique. Right now, you've been better than everybody that you played against. Now you're playing against some guys. You're playing against some real dogs now, right? That are grown, that are kind of grown. I said, so now we got to. I said these first 5 games should have taught you, man, I've got to be a great technician to go along with my great ability, because your great ability is just like everybody else in this league. You got to be something that sets yourself apart from that, and that means you got to be a great technician on top of that ability, which means you got to make a living in the weight room as well. So I think they've learned that. I had a great meeting with some of those guys on Monday, and they were like, I get it. Like, they had these ideas. I know what they had. I'm the best around here. Oh, you are the best freshman around here. But they don't put freshmen on the back of your jersey on Friday night. You're just a football player on Friday night. They don't care what grade you're in.
A senior ain't gonna carry you a freshman.
No.
Great answer, Coach. And pretty much all the other questions I want to ask you, you pretty much answer them. So great answers to all our questions here tonight, Coach. Last question I'm gonna leave you with. Tough question too, Coach.
I like it.
We Catholic playing in the hardest division in Tennessee high school football. Per opinion, but me, it's no argument or debate. It is the hardest division. Do you think Catholic will ever pull off winning the state in this division?
100%. I have no doubt. There's things that we have to do better. We have to get even more players in. We have to redevelop a youth program that kind of puts that go hat on 7 and 8-year-olds along the way, but we ain't waiting a decade to do all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
But we want to win now. And so my expectation is that I know we have the best freshman group around. We're going to have the best freshman group around next year too.
Yes, sir.
We're getting contacted every day by people from everywhere that how can we get to Knoxville Catholic?
Yes, sir.
And so we're going to do everything we can obviously not breaking the rule, because I'm not going to break the rule. I'm not going to do things the wrong way. You can't teach kids to do things the right way when you're doing them the wrong way.
Sir.
So we're going to do them the right way, and but we're going to continue. We're on a quick path to being special here, special.
Yes, sir.
And just put us in the same ballpark as what some schools in our region are doing right now. Get us close to equal players, and we're going to find a way to win that gold ball and bring it back to Knoxville.
Sounds good, Coach. Sounds good, Coach. Hey, we appreciate your time here today.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Always good having you on, Coach. Enjoy your bye week. Good luck against the NBA. Thank you for coming on the show again, Coach. In the lab.
Coach Right.
Coach O.
Yeah.
Y'all know what time it is. You just tuned in the lab with Coach Rock and O. East Tennessee High School Sports Podcast. Bringing you all the exclusive interviews with some of the hottest players coming out of high school and the coaches from around the country here. Make sure you like and share this podcast. And stay tuned in each week. But enough of this. Let's get it.
Welcome to In the Lounge.
Coach Right.
Coach O.
We're here at Casen with
Casen, Jenkins, class of 2026, wide receiver.
Anton, Hamlinton, O-line, D-line, 2026.
Jayden, Neal, 2025 QB.
appreciate that coming on the show, man.
Appreciate you coming on the show. Jayden, welcome back.
Thank you.
Sir.
You like the second person to be on that twice?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up? But anyway, how the season going for y'all so far? Over to that.
Good right now. So I actually had surgery around May, so I haven't been able to play really at all this season. But really kind of, being like a coach on the team has been really a different role. So just kind of getting used to that and still being able to help when I can and how I can, even though it's not really like playing right now.
I mean, yeah, I feel like, this year for me it's a bigger part, I gotta step and be a leader. I feel like we're doing good, but we got a lot of young guys that still got progress, so we're gonna get there.
I think it's going good. First 5 games, some of them went good and some of them didn't, but this last 5 we gotta step it up because it's like our best teams we played in the last 5 games.
I agree. What are some strengths and weaknesses this season you think the team, like what are your biggest strengths, what is your biggest weaknesses? Start with you, Casen.
I'd say our weakness is we're all pretty young and it's only like a couple seniors that are like helping benefit our team. Our strengths, I'd probably say, probably our offense. I feel like our defense, we're struggling a little bit, but that should comes with experience too.
I mean, yeah, going off Casen said, young guys, they gotta step up and play, but I feel like our depth too, gotta have the young guys ready to play, a couple guys gotta play both sides, tired, but gotta fight through that. I feel like our strengths, I would say our juniors is our strength because a lot of juniors played last year, that's stepping up and helping us. Seniors too, but mostly all the juniors are stepping up and being leaders this year. So I would say that.
I would say our strengths are probably how well we are as really like a family, playing. A lot of teams that kind of goes for granted, but I'd say that we're really good this year, how connected we are with everyone and how everyone's kind of under one kind of brotherhood. Weaknesses, I would say that we're really kind of stretched either from, we got a bunch of older kids that are juniors and seniors that play, and then all their backups are really young people that don't really know completely what they're doing yet. So all the older kids really have to play a lot of reps, 100 reps a game. Just trying to get the younger kids kind of up to speed and ready. Now that's what I'm trying to do straight.
You got started out hot, you won the first 3 games, and now y'all getting into your district play. You haven't lost 2 in a row. What are some of the things I think I need to do to improve the end of this 2-game losing streak?
I think the biggest thing to start is to not go backwards and point fingers and blame and keep what our strength was, which was really one brotherhood. I think that's one thing we have to keep going, and then also kind of just getting better every day, even if it's not a lot, one step at a time. We just gotta continue to get better every single day and not really look behind us or too far forward. Just look at us every day and keep getting better.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. focus more in practice, locking in more, like not knowing not when to play and then when to play. So like we just gotta like lock in more in practice and listen up.
I'd probably say in our games, like if we're up by like 20 or if we're down, like we just have to stay in the game and just like keep playing and don't give up and just keep playing until fourth quarter.
Sure. Name some of the guys, start with you, Jayden. Name some of the guys this year so far that you think's been stepping up, whether it's the young guy or older guy, just a guy that's been surprising to you this far that's been stepping up, helping the team out.
I wouldn't say really much of a surprise, but one guy for sure is this guy right here.
Okay.
There was a lot of talk kind of last year. He didn't really get to play much O-line just from like the guys we had that were seniors. We had a lot of really good guys. But this year it was like really a lot of talk about how our O-line was going to be a lot lacking.
Mm-hmm.
Like from what I'm seeing in practice and watching, like all him, Chuck, JR, they're all stepping up a ton. And I still feel like we really got some of the best five we could have really in front of them. I got full faith in those five to get the job done every time. So I'll just say that's one. And then Casen, Casen too for sure. Last year he kind of played like more of like a third receiver behind Braylon and Tyreek, and now it's really him and Tyreek both like their own units. Especially like a lot of how the teams are trying to shift everything towards Tyreek. They really can't guard Casen one-on-one, so I mean that's been a huge help this year.
Yes, sir.
So I would say my guy Caleb King, he's a kicker. So we don't got enough guys, so moving that left guard, and he's been playing pretty good right there. Taller kid, doesn't play that position, but he stepped up when we need him to play right there. And he's not great, but he's not like great. Like he's not like he's good. But, like he make mistakes too. That's what I'm trying to say. So he stepped up when we needed to step up. So I would say Caleb King.
I'd probably say Xavier Bowman and Braylon Gibbs. Like they're just freshmen, but like they come in. They knew they were going to play because like some of us couldn't play offense and defense, and they're helping us a lot, holding it down. Like, they're getting scored on some, but they're helping us a lot.
Yeah, this question for you. How difficult has it been for you to be, because you pretty much one of the biggest leaders of the team. How difficult has it been for you to lead without playing the shirt?
Yeah, it's definitely been different because like since my freshman year I've been playing. So it's been way different, like a role. I haven't really ever, throughout my whole life playing football, I had to kind of lead and not lead by example, I guess you can say, like by on the field. So it's been a lot more kind of coaching, which has been different, just giving my opinion to Coach Shad. He always listens to everything and hears me out and everything. So it's just been different, like trying to do that. And then also making sure everyone kind of knows what they're doing instead of just me and like the starters. I can really help everyone as a unit. So that's kind of been like the biggest, helpful thing. I can help everyone know what they're doing. So just kind of progressing like the young guys I was talking about earlier, to get to the point where they can play.
This question for you, Anton. How hard is it playing both sides of the ball, especially in this division?
I mean, it's pretty tough. Well conditioned. Going to get 6'4", 6'5" guys every day. Got to block 6'5", and go against them on defense. So I would say it's pretty hard. You got to be well trained and conditioned to do that. So I feel like I'm conditioned, but I still got to get there a little more. So that's what I say.
Question for you, Jayden. You've been dealing with injuries this year. Will we be expecting to see you back in this season, or what's your progression at with your injury?
So I came back week 3, and I played that first 2 series, whatever it was. That was kind of like an eye opener that I really tried to push back before, like really was expected of me. So that was kind of like an eye opener then to me that I wasn't nearly like even really close to where I thought I was at, really on strength and everything wise. So I'm hoping that I've been pushing PT real hard, pushing strength and everything. I'm hoping that within the next 2 weeks I can start playing again. But really it kind of comes down to what God's plan is and everything with me. So that's really all I have to say about that.
Sure. Question for you, Casen. You've been putting up some really good numbers this season. What do you look forward going to? The rest of the season, what do you think some things you can improve going forward?
probably my blocking, because it's not just always about me like catching the ball and scoring. Like it helps with like just getting our running back plays and stuff, and probably just staying open for the quarterback and just always being there in the right position to catch the ball.
Going on that question, Coach Jackson, how important is you for the team to be that second receiver, to take some pressure off Tyreek and take the pressure off the quarterback? His first year getting a lot of time.
Yeah. So usually they're always trying to shut down Tyreek, and they always think if they shut Tyreek down, like they've already won. But like that always puts me on an island, and I know if I win there, we'll move the ball and we'll score, and we keep moving forward.
Jayden, this for you. Talk to us a little bit about Bartholomew, with you being a 3-year starter, and do you give him any advice?
Yeah, I would say our relationship is grown to be like we're almost like best friends, really, from even like outside of football. Like during school, we got like a class to do together. I always see him in the hallway, everything. I'm always talking to him. So it's really been like he's really been good at listening to what I have to say, and then also even all of us, like our QB room, me, Mac, and Garrett, all of us, we really talk a lot about what we think. So, I have been able to give advice to really both of them too. But yeah, he's been really good at, taking what I'm saying and really applying it on the field and kind of doing what I want to do, but him being able to do it actually physically and help the team, that's just what I want to see.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Casen, this for you. Coming to a Catholic game, it's kind of obvious to see that the strengths of the team is the passing game. But talk to us a little bit about how the running game been going so far for you guys this season.
I know we've been struggling a little bit, but like I feel like the game, like as we keep going on in the season, like it just keeps getting better. And like sometimes we're like I get stuffed on like 31, but like we're just gonna keep running and showing them we can run the ball.
Anton, this for you. What gives you the confidence to go out there going against taller guys every week in, week out, and block those guys with you being 5'9", but growing? What gives you the confidence to go out there and block those guys?
My freshman and sophomore years, like all those guys I went against in the scout team, they was always bigger than me. So I feel like in scout team is where I really got better. Went against my brother, Hamlinton, and also be, I had to block him, best D-line I ever had to block. So I feel like if I can block him, I can block anybody else in this league. So I would say that.
I'm thinking about that. With you being one of the returning guys on the team, and you said earlier, y'all playing for young guys who ain't played position at the same time on the high school level. How important is you to be that leader, that vocal leader for the linemen in their practice and the game?
It's very important because they really don't know a lot about this league, so I gotta teach them and tell them if they make a bad play, just forget about it. Keep your head up, and they're gonna get better as we progress. So I just gotta be a leader to them.
You guys got Brentwood in a few weeks. Got the #1 quarterback in the state of Tennessee coming to town. Last year that game was a shootout, one of my more favorable games last year to watch, especially with the high scoring Jayden and Neal going back and forth with McIntosh is his name, right? Yeah. Going back and forth with him, and it was really one of the marquee games for me. That was a fun game to watch. Do you think how that matchup's been going the last few years, that Brentwood may be Catholic biggest rival? Starting with you, Jay.
Even with my freshman and sophomore year, we didn't play them. So it's not a rivalry, I would say, based on time and how we played against them. I think it's more just almost like a more personal level rival. With we know a lot of people on their team. We train with them, play 7-on-7, circuit with them. And also I'd say it's kind of like how we almost think we deserve what they have. How they got all the stars and everything, all the offense places. So it's kind of like we're hungry for what they have. We want to show that we up with there too. So I'd say that's probably the biggest thing that makes it more of a rival than anything.
So what about you, Tom?
Yeah, I would say it's a very personal game. it's on Thursday night rivalry, so I would say it's very personal. You know, they got a couple of guys that was at Catholic up there, so you know there's some chatter, but it's gonna be a very good game. So that's all I'll say.
I probably wouldn't say it's a rival because, just like Jayden was saying, it's personal because all basically like most of their secondary look around their team has offers and we all know we're better than all of them. And just we have to show it and prove it.
This week, I got NBA, correct? This question for all three of y'all. Going into this week, what do you feel is going to be the keys to the game that help y'all get this victory this weekend, this Friday?
Bye week this week, right?
Yeah, bye week.
Oh, that's
Bye
next week.
Next week.
Okay, yeah, next week.
I say it's really almost the same thing. Every team in our league is really competition, you can say. So there's no week off, really. So I would say it's really the same thing every week. We just can't beat ourselves. I think it's the biggest part. A lot of times the team loses, it ends up being that. A lot of the times, especially with our team, we can compete with any team that's in our league. So as long as we play how we should and how we can, I think we can beat really any team.
I would say execute, like, as far as defense wise, if we execute like the run, like playing downhill, like they won't beat us. And like execute on offense, like no bad mistakes, like running, like moving the ball, throwing everything. That's what I would say.
I'd probably say a good week of practice because if you have a good week of practice, like you all come in the game, and even if we're down or up, just we have to stay as a team. Keep playing.
I agree. Practice how you play. I got a few more questions before I get you guys out of here. I know it's been a long day at practice. If I was a college coach and I wanted to offer you guys, what type of player would I be getting? Starting with you, Casen.
You need to be getting a hard worker and a leader and somebody who's going to bring 100% every day.
So, about you, Anton?
Yeah, I would say you get a vocal guy that likes to lead, works hard, and just be a team player also.
That's a good question. I would say someone that's really dedicated to learning and really committed. I'll say those are the two biggest things I view of myself. So I'll say that's probably what you get.
Okay. Staying with you, Jayden. When your high school career is done at Catholic, we'll start with you since you're a senior. Your high school career is done here. What 3 schools would you be interested in continuing your football career?
Right now, I would say what I'm looking at is more coaching staff and connections I build with them rather than school. So I can't really say like a 3 that I really build personal connections with, like coaching staffs. So I went up to Indianapolis a couple weeks ago. I really like their coaching staff. I really have a good connection with all of them. So that's probably the number 1, I would say. But besides that, really that's the biggest thing, coaching staffs.
Okay. What about you, Anton?
Yeah, I can't say 3 schools, but one of the main schools would be Austin Peay. You know, brothers up there, so you know I gotta work to get up there. You know, for myself. So I'll say that's cool.
Okay. What about you, Casen?
I'd probably say like MTSU or a smaller school like that.
Okay. Got any questions, Coach? I got one more question for you guys before I get you out of here. For all the rising 8th graders and guys that's looking to choose schools next year, what would be your pitch to the reason why they should come to Catholic High School? Start with you, Jayden.
I would say, especially like the reason I came was that going to most of these other schools, you won't play the competition that we will, and that's really what you want. Because if you want to go play at the next level, all you'll be doing is competition. I'd say out of all the areas kind of in the region, Catholic really the most college-like, just from like who we play and really during practice every day you're going against some of the best guys in the area. So the competition is the reason. And then really, I'd say the more kind of hype you build around yourself, the more, I guess, hype and movement towards you. That's kind of like a huge thing now, especially with like social media and everything. I'd say probably Catholic, you always hear about Catholic in the news and everything. So I'd say that's a huge thing too.
So what about you?
Yeah, I will also say the competition because you know if you want to be college ready, I come in high school, I would say come here. And the coaches, you know, we got some of the best coaches in the state. So, you know, I would say that. And also, it's a private school, so education will be better. And, like, teachers care more. Like, if you're in public school, they won't care as much. They care more. They get your grades up. So, that's what I would say.
I'd probably say if like you want to be the best, you gotta like play against the best, and we play like the best teams in the state. And like every day we're competing with like the best people around. So.
Sounds good.
Got it. I got to thank you, man. Appreciate that coming on the
Appreciate
show.
y'all. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for coming on the show. Thank y'all for coming on the show. Hey, enjoy the bye week. Get rest up.
Yeah.
Let's go get NBA. They beat us last year 17-12. I still remember the score. So let's go get them back. Go Irish. And,
Y'all know what time it is? You just tuned in the lab with Coach Rocket O. East Tennessee High School Sports Podcast. Bringing you all the exclusive interviews with some of the hottest players coming out of high school and the coaches from around the country here. Make sure you like and share this podcast.